The Wicked Princesses and the Humble Young Man. Once, in a far-off kingdom nestled between verdant hills and rivers of silver, there lived a young man named Aaron. He was the son of a humble woodcutter, spending his days in the forest, cutting timber and carrying bundles to the village market. Though poor in material wealth, Aaron was rich in kindness, strength, and a deep sense of honor. Yet fate would soon bring him face to face with a test of character that would change his life forever. The kingdom was ruled by a wise and just king, but his daughters, 3 princesses, were a different story. They were known far and wide for their beauty, wealth, and charm. But behind their delicate faces and silken gowns, they carried a secret cruelty in their hearts. These princesses, raised in luxury, believed themselves to be above everyone else, especially commoners like Aaron. They were wicked in their treatment of those beneath them, mocking their subjects, testing their loyalty for sport, and believing themselves invincible in their privileged world. The eldest, Princess Lilith, was the most cunning of the 3. She had a sharp tongue and an even sharper mind. The middle princess, Aurelia, was cold and calculating, using her beauty to manipulate men and command loyalty with a glance. The youngest, Morgana, was the most dangerous of them all, her cruelty masked by a sweet smile, capable of turning even the kindest soul against themselves. One day, the king announced a grand contest to determine who would be the next royal advisor. The prize was a position of immense power, one that could change the life of any commoner who was clever and worthy enough to win. Word of the contest spread quickly, and young men from all over the kingdom came to compete. Aaron, despite his lack of formal education or wealth, decided to enter. He had a sharp mind, an honest heart, and an inner strength that no one could take away from him. The contest was a series of challenges, each one more difficult and demeaning than the last. The princesses, acting as judges, took great delight in tormenting the contestants. They laughed when the men failed, mocked them for their poor manners, and humiliated them for their lack of grace. But through it all, Aaron remained steadfast. Though he was given no advantage, no wealth or title, he never faltered. The princesses, annoyed by his resilience, decided to make the final challenge nearly impossible. They led the remaining contestants deep into the forest, where they were to find a rare and mythical flower known to bloom only once every 100 years. Whoever brought the flower back alive would win the contest. The journey was treacherous, filled with wild beasts, thick brambles, and deadly pitfalls. Many of the contestants perished, and some turned back, but Aaron pressed on. With each step, he relied on his knowledge of the forest, his resourcefulness, and his bravery. Along the way, he encountered a wounded wolf, its leg caught in a trap. Most would have left it to die, but Aaron, with his kind heart, freed the creature. Grateful, the wolf nuzzled him before disappearing into the forest, its eyes gleaming with an unspoken promise. Hours later, Aaron found the mythical flower, its petals glowing with an ethereal light. As he reached to pick it, the princesses appeared, their eyes cold with malice. "You may have found it, young man," Lilith sneered, "but do you truly think we will reward a peasant like you? The contest was never about the flower. It was about proving you are worthy of our attention. And you, Aaron, are nothing." With a cruel smile, Aurelia stepped forward and raised her hand, signaling her guards to seize Aaron. Morgana, with a sugary sweetness, asked, "What would you do if we told you the contest was a ruse? That we never intended to allow someone like you to win?" Aaron stood tall, his heart full of anger, but his spirit unbroken. "I may be a commoner, but I have something you don't," he said quietly. "I have integrity, I have honor, and I will not bow to cruelty, no matter who holds the power." The princesses laughed, but just as they were about to order his capture, something extraordinary happened. The wolf Aaron had saved earlier returned, along with a pack of other creatures from the forest. They surrounded the princesses, their eyes fierce and protective. The wolves, knowing Aaron's goodness, had come to his defense. The princesses were shocked and terrified. Their power had always been absolute, but now they realized that they had underestimated the strength of a humble heart. The creatures of the forest, sensing the wickedness in the princesses, stood their ground, and one by one they backed away. "You may have wealth, titles, and beauty," Aaron said, his voice strong, "but these things mean nothing when you lack the most important quality, compassion." In that moment, the king, who had been watching from afar, stepped forward. He had seen the entire exchange. "You have prava,"